Hi there everyone, Melanie from jarofthreads.com, and I'm back with another Make It Monday video. And today I thought I would show you how I go about printing my pictures. I know a lot of you guys got a selfie or Canon selfie or is that Picturemate, Epson Picturemate? I don't have those printers. I just have a Canon Pixar, which is a very good black and white printer, but not so much to print pictures, and it gets very expensive. So I'm using to set up my files for printing, I'm using Lightroom and Photoshop. I'm using Lightroom because it's free with Photoshop, and I can organize collection on my phone, since I'm taking most of my pictures, if not all of my pictures, on my phone. I can, when I've got a few moments, organize a collection on my phone, and then it's sync with my computer. And here you see me create a file to a folder to export my pictures for week 15. So you just go into Lightroom, you select all your pictures you want to export, and then you click export and then select the file, and then it does all the work for you. It's already on the computer somewhere, but I can't be bothered finding in which folder, so I'm just creating a new folder, and now I've got all my pictures in one place. It's a bit messy, but I know they're here, so they're in the pictures, and I'm going down to find week 15, and I think this one was a bit silly. It went and oh no, this one was fine. Week, is that week 15 or 16? 15. I can't really see. It's very small on my computer right now when I'm doing the voiceover. And I'm going to move to Photoshop. And I'm pretty sure there are different ways to go about making or getting your files ready for printing. That's the way I'm doing it, and it's working fine for me. So in Photoshop, I create a new file by Control N, and then choosing photo and a landscape 4x6. And there I'm going to write a little reminder for myself. I don't know if you watched my last Project Life process video, where I had an oopsie where I had printed my pictures for week 12 and 13 in the wrong design. I'm using design A and design D, and my week 12 should have been design D, and it was design A, and my week 13 should have been design A, and it was design D. So they were out of sync in my album. That's okay. So this time I'm making a reminder for myself. At this point, I think I'm going to make one just half of a spread per week, but in reality, I'm going to reach the end of this video and realizing that I've got many more pictures and things I want to put in my. I've got a bit of memorabilia and stuff like that I want to include as well in my album. So I'm preparing it as if I'm going to do like 4 weeks over 2 spreads, but in reality, I'm going to do a week per spread for the next couple of weeks, and yeah. Anyway, back to that. Once I've created my blank placeholder, let's call them that, I go under place embedded, under file place embedded, and then I'm finding my pictures, and I'm going to show you in the speed I've done it, so not sped up or anything, and then I will put some of it in fast forward, yeah, something like that, because I'm going to show you how I go about dealing with portrait picture in a landscape frame. See, this picture is portrait, and I really want it to be a big picture for this week. So I'm going to because they're good quality pictures. My phone is a rubbish phone, but it takes very good picture. It's a 5 megapixels camera on my phone. That's the only good thing about this phone. um, so I can actually increase the size of the picture quite a bit, and I can easily double the size before it starts looking weird. But here I decided that this one is not a good candidate for increasing the size. And if you can hear some music and weird noises in the background, it's my son Lucas. He's home today. We're Monday morning, and he was not feeling well, so he's staying home with me. And he's playing on his computer. So here I've resized the picture back to 3 by 4. I'm going to put it on the left side, and then I'm going to grab another portrait style picture. This one. And I'm going to... So this one was another challenge because, as you can see in the background of this picture, there's a car, and we can actually see or guess the number plate once it's blown up. So that's not really... I don't really care for people's number plate in my project life. So I'm going to increase size quite a bit until I get it to where I want, and I'm going to move it under the first picture so I can have a better idea of where my 3 by 4 limit is. I could have just dropped a guide in, but I didn't think about it at that time, and it's still not see there, that's where the plate is bothering me. So I'm going to increase the size of this picture again by doing Control T. Control T brings the frames thing that you can increase. And here I'm much happier about that. I think I might still make it slightly bigger or move it a little bit up. Or maybe a little bit smaller. I'm not quite sure what I did there. Here you go. And there's quite a bit of... no, not quite a bit, but there's a bit of weird blank space under my son's feet. And I'm fine with that because that's actually giving me a space to do a little bit of journaling. So that's working just fine for my purpose here. And now I'm going to do... see, I'm bringing it up, and there's going to be... Because this cow in the background was bothering me. And now I'm going to control click on the other layer, on the two layers, so they're both selected. Control click, here you go. And I'm going to go under layer and merge layers. So they're on one layer, those two pictures. Now I'm not doing any kind of editing in terms of light and contrast and all of that. I take all my pictures outdoors mostly, or most of them, or maybe half of them outdoor. So they've got fairly good natural light, and you could say that the one on the left was a bit, the light could have been improved, but I quite like it because it was quite late in the day, and that's telling the story of that day. You could go into each picture and change the light and all of that, but I don't. Partly because I can't be bothered, and partly because I'm usually quite happy with how my pictures turned out. And here you can see how I deal with a picture I want, a portrait style picture that I want to be in a landscape setting. So yeah, my son is looking at me. I think he wants to ask something. And now I'm going in fast forward because I'm just repeating the process. So each time I've got 2 3 by 4s, I'm merging the layers together, and you'll see why at the end. I will explain why. And this picture, I really wanted this picture to be big, but it's just not working out. And in the end, it's not really a problem because I'm going to do a spread, like 2 sides of project life pages stuff. So yep, I'm just putting my pictures. It's a bit boring, and I'm just about done. This one I can do big, and I think there's one more. Here are some pictures we took out and about. Really silly pictures. It was Easter time, obviously. And sometimes those are iPhone pictures, and they don't shrink to 3x4 exactly. So those were taken on my husband's phone. My husband's got an iPhone 5, maybe, or 4, I don't know. And I've got a Samsung Ace 2. It's not a very good phone, but it's working fine for me. Anyway, here I'm showing you what I wanted to actually explain, and I forgot to explain. So once you've done all your pictures and you're happy with them, you go under File and you choose Scripts, and under Scripts you choose export layers to files. And I'm going to create a new folder for that. So that's my to print number 3, our original, right? And you've got to make sure that you select JPEG, because by default it's going to export as PDF, no, as PSD, Photoshop's file. So you need to make sure you choose JPEGs. And I'm also adding week 14 or 14 in my file prefix, because then when I print them, they get on the back, you get the file name, and I know which week it's for. I don't need to refer back to my photos. So now I've clicked run, and it's exported all the pictures, and I'm going to show you. If I go to my to print number 3, here you go, and I've got all my files all in 4x6 format that I can take to my print shop and get printed. And then I just have to cut them in half at home. There you go. So I think I was quite slow. I'm usually a bit faster, but I wanted to be slow so that you could see what I'm actually doing. So it took me 25 minutes to do actually half of my pictures for week 14 and 15. But I had a lot of picture to go through, and I don't know, not really into it at the time. Otherwise, I'm a bit faster than that. And now I'm going to show you how I deal with portrait style pictures, because I thought that my week 15 would be portrait styles. And I've got some pictures that I'm not quite sure why they're not quite same quality as the other one. They're taken on the same phone camera stuff, but I don't know, sometimes it's a bit weird. That's what I'm saying, that my phone is a bit rubbish. The only reason I got this phone was because it had a 5 megapixels camera. And when I bought my first digital camera, that was maybe 15 years ago, and my first digital camera had 3.2 megapixels. And it was the best thing you could buy at the time. And the camera after that got 5 megapixels, and that was in 2003, maybe, something like that. So here I'm going through my pictures. It's a bit harder when you're trying to get, in Design D, Project Life, Page Protector Design D. You've got landscape 3x4s, and when you take a lot of pictures in portrait, like I do, I don't know why, I just do. I'm trying to be a bit better with that, because I find it's a bit easier to transform a picture that's been taken in landscape into portrait than the reverse. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? So here I'm trying to find pictures that might work, and or maybe those ones I'm trying to just make them big, but they were taken indoor in a restaurant that was quite dark, and they didn't turn out so great, which is a shame because that was the first time that we all went out to a real restaurant, the four of us. So yeah, so that's a picture of Leon standing up, and I'm going to try to find pictures. I think I'm moving on to pictures of Leon because there's a lot of we've got leather armchairs, and we don't really care about the big piece of leather under him. And here what you see me do is dragging a guide. So I'm going to explain how that works. When you launch Photoshop, it's like that with no ruler, and you can go under View and then click on ruler, or do Control R and it brings the ruler. And then when you click on the white part of the ruler and drag, you can drag a guide, and I dragged it down to 3 inches so I know where the middle is. This way I can bring another picture. Bring another picture. And here I'm going to make them large because I'm struggling with finding pictures that are not blurry. Problem with children, small ones, they keep moving. You can't take a good picture of them. Quite like this one, you can see his teeth, even if it's still a bit blurry and messy in the background. Yeah, I've got a messy house. Yep. And I'm going to click those 2 layers and merge them, and done. And I'm going to fast forward the rest of it because it's the same thing over and over, same principle. One thing is that if you've got 2 pictures that you're not really resizing, you're just, let's say, cropping them like that, you might need to delete a bunch of one of the pictures because it's overlapping the bottom one. So you will need to rasterize the file. You go under layer and you click rasterize, and something I can't remember. I can't see it from here. And then you can select the part that's overlapping and cut it. The guide will snap, and you don't have to guess where you need to cut. And that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and it was helpful, and I'll be back with a project life process video very soon. Bye bye.